Oh, John!
Hey, Ben.
It's Monday night. What are we doing here?
It's Monday. What's going on?
Oh, there's something going on, isn't there, John?
Yeah, I think there might be something going on in those houses, those ones that Guy Fawkes tried to burn down. Remember them?
That we neither endorse or condone such actions, but yes, I do remember those,
No,
John.
no, I'm just saying he tried to burn them down, didn't he?
He definitely did, yeah.
Those houses beside that big river in London.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
So, do you want to introduce the show, or shall I?
You introduce the show.
You want me to do
your
it?
idea.
You want me to do it?
Yeah,
I feel humbled. I feel honoured. And so, good evening, one and all. Welcome to this special edition of Chasing Dissent Live on a Monday night. As this morning it was announced that a vote of no confidence in the liar-in-chief himself, Alexander Boris de Pfeffel Johnson, had been announced and was going to go on between 6 and 8 p.m. this evening. So we've decided to jump in halfway through, see what's what, give you coverage. We'll give you the result as it comes. And not only that, we'll watch, if there's no direct coverage of Parliament, then we're going to watch like Sky News.
They don't do this on Parliament, do they? Because it's just the Tories that get to vote.
Yeah, but don't they still get to have some kind of debate on this?
No, any debate, I think this is a parliamentary thing. Not a parliamentary thing, this is a party thing.
Right.
So I don't think that there's no parliamentary debate. This is done behind closed doors.
So what we shall do is we shall keep an eye on the coverage of the other media outlets, and I say the other media outlets, the propaganda rags, John, the propaganda rags.
Indeed, the propaganda rags.
The propaganda rags, and we'll comment on what they're commenting on, and we'll have a little bit of a laugh, and then when the vote result is announced, we will be here to let you know that. Now, a couple of years, well, a bit more than a couple of years ago now, but Theresa May went through this same process, the vote of no confidence process, and she survived, didn't she?
Yeah, but did she really? Did she really survive? Because she resigned, what, 6 months later?
She did, but she still had 2/3 of the party. But I think even if Boris Johnson survives tonight...
So who was the last guy that went through it other than Theresa May?
I don't know. Enlighten us, John.
I mean, generally they don't tend to last. David Cameron, he went through the no confidence vote and resigned 8 days later.
Well, of course they can't last, because the fact of the matter is 54 of his MPs at minimum have submitted letters of no confidence in him. And even if he survives his vote, his position is ultimately untenable, right?
Yes. Talking about untenable.
Yeah.
What about Jeremy Hunt?
Well, have you seen my name tonight, John?
Yeah, but talk about untenable. Is Nadine? Oh, in fact, Nadine's on just now. She's on Sky News just now.
Is she half cut? Is she defending him? What's going on there?
I don't know.
Shall we look in? Shall we watch in?
I've popped in.
You've popped in. Make sure you're sharing your audio.
I'm doing that now. I need to turn their audio on though.
Leadership crisis.
Let me just go back.
Okay, yeah, turn that down, but yeah.
Leaving the Estonian Prime Minister alone on the doorstep of number 10 as the British...
So can you hear us over that? I hope so.
I can hear you, yeah.
I can hear you as well. So we're currently commenting on Sky News. Are you going back to Doris? Are you looking for her?
Yeah, I was going to go back.
We used to call her Nazi Nadine, and I say Nazi because I can't say the actual word here on YouTube.
As Conservative MPs finally show their cards.
Ooh.
He's got every big core right. They think a different leader would be the best way forward. I don't agree with them.
Nobody has had to force me to come out to support an exceptional, good, forward-looking Prime Minister.
It's pretty clear that he has broken the ministerial code.
I wouldn't put any money on this at all, either way.
Ooh. No money on that either way.
Right.
Where did you put your money, Ben?
Where would I put my money? Well,
Conservative MPs are deciding the future.
Turn it down again a little bit, but he needs a very, very high. Remember, Boris Johnson currently holds an 80-seat majority, right?
In order to cling onto power.
Right. Go on.
So he holds an 80-seat majority in Parliament. Yeah. So even if it was, let's say, it was just 54 letters that went in, then he still holds a majority over and above.
And what's it got to be? It's got to be 15% of his MPs that
trigger the vote. And so that's 54. Okay.
Buffering.
No, it's... Oh, God, yeah, we're down.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's... We're back. It's fine. We're back. Let's put this up here.
Choppy.
It should be back and perfect now.
Give it a minute.
My apologies for that. We're now dropping 0 frames. We're all good.
Did you do something?
No, I didn't do something.
You didn't try and use your phone?
No, I didn't put it in the air.
I'm hoping we get through this vote.
I didn't put it in the air, John.
He's
Right.
a dead man.
Let's have a listen.
Very much.
He's a dead man
Absolutely not. He's a strong leader who will get the big calls right. And thank you very much for all your time.
And a warning.
He will get the big calls right. What, like closing off the economy for 2 years?
Yeah, shut down the economy.
Yeah.
Impose impose restrictions on thousands of businesses and make them go out of business.
So this is one of the things that I've seen all day in support of Boris. People tweeting, MPs tweeting. He made the call. He reopened the economy.
He shut the economy in the first place.
He's the one that closed it.
Yeah.
I don't know. RCW says, hey guys, I'd prefer Boris to stay only because I hate our child-liking overlords gunning for him.
I think they should all go.
And Alexander Cameron, welcome to the show over on YouTube, says, hi everyone, hope you're all good. Everyone will be worse than what we already have. Now, whilst I kind of agree with your sentiment, I also disagree with your sentiment because, and the reason is, they're all just as bad as the last, right?
Yeah.
So
they are all pretty bad.
And even if you were to replace the Tories with Labour, nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change. They're all just two cheeks of the same fucking arse. They really are. But we're here for it. We're here to provide you commentary. We're here to provide you entertainment. RCW says the globalist media pressure. It's nice to see some people.
Hold on.
Oh, there she is.
Has to be said. There are individuals who do believe that who don't like Brexit, who are Remainers, who have been able to whip up a number of MPs in the party, and I'm afraid that's just not acceptable.
What Mr. Johnson's enemies and allies...
Oh, God, that's Beth Rigby, isn't it? Giving the commentary. Beth Rigby.
Oh, Beth Rigby.
Do you know what I also find really, really hilarious? So you got Beth Rigby here, and also, what's her name? Kay Burley? Both of these women were suspended for like 6 months for breaking lockdown rules. Yeah?
Yeah.
And
Are you getting a buzzing?
Nope.
In the audio?
Nope.
I'm just wondering if it's my phone.
Well, it's not coming through this end, and they're only getting the audio from this end, so it's all good.
Yeah, but you don't monitor your output.
I monitor the output from your side.
Do you? Okay.
Because I can hear it. I wouldn't be able to hear you if I didn't, John.
Okay. Yeah, it's okay.
Granted. Alexander Cameron says, agree, the story just continues no matter who it is. And that's absolutely right. The agenda, whatever the agenda is, it seems to just roll on, doesn't it? It doesn't matter who's in charge. Do you ever see life actually getting better for the working class like us, for the little guy, the people who've not got a pot to piss in? Because I don't. I just see less of a pot to piss in.
The way that the government is structured, the way that the world is structured at the moment, then there is no hope for the little guy at all.
No.
Because they're just there to be used as pawns.
I agree with you.
And when they're of no use, they're just going to be discarded, you know? And that's us.
Yeah, exactly. They don't like people like us, for sure, because we speak. And people might or might not listen. Not as many people as we'd like listen, but we do speak. And what we try and do, or at least what I hope we try and do, is with a little bit of irreverence and a little bit of entertainment, we try and empower the working class person, the little guy, the person who feels downtrodden, to speak up for themselves and make some noise. because we have largely been ignored. We have largely been maligned. We have been called every name under the sun. And something has got to give, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's if we harken back to a couple of shows ago when I was speaking about the social contract, and the fact that they have broken it, it's just like Neil Oliver said in his speech, they have broken the social contract because we've done our bit. We've been their good little boys and girls, generally.
Yep.
We've paid our taxes, we've done everything on time. We've followed the rule of law.
Yep.
We've kowtowed. Some of us have kowtowed to their most ridiculous restrictions that they put out.
Not this guy. Not this guy.
But some of us did, and in fact, the majority followed the ridiculous restrictions, and then we get shafted. Hold on, let's hear what's going on just in case.
Yep, let's have a look in.
He's there.
Well, we're expecting Boris Johnson to vote shortly. Sajid Javid recently voted. Michael Gove has been in the queue. Peter Bottomley was the first MP heading the queue.
Peter Bottomley.
Theresa May in a ball gown, black lace affair. I'm told she's going to a Jubilee party later rather than making a statement about Boris Johnson, although she hasn't held back on her criticism in the Commons about Boris Johnson. We just don't know what the outcome of tonight's vote is going to be. It was always quite likely that there was going to be some kind of showdown, some kind of vote after the even though it dragged
let's face it, right? Michael Gove, all of these people, and I said this earlier in the video, if you saw the video I put out about this earlier on, all of these people in the cabinet, so you got Michael Gove, Nadine Dorries, Sajid Javid, publicly they are going to make statements in support of Boris Johnson. Because,
yeah, of course, but you don't know what they're voting, do you?
No, you don't know what they're voting, but the reason that they're making these public statements of support is because if he does win and he does retain his position as Prime Minister, they would like to retain the positions of power in which they sit. And I would say if they were sure that he would lose this vote, they would have all probably come out hard against him. Because I imagine there are many in the cabinet just salivating at the bit to try and get that top job.
So what happens after this? If he wins, right, do we get a night of the long knives when it comes to the cabinet?
It depends how many of them voted for and against him, doesn't it?
But he'll not know that, will he?
I'm not sure. I'm not
you don't
sure
know who gets to vote.
I'm not sure. But what I will say is this: he will be immune from any no confidence vote for a year. So as I said earlier on, it's a ballsy move by the quote unquote rebels to have done this, because if they do lose, they've literally just affirmed his position for sure for up to a year.
What is that girl wearing on her feet behind them?
Wow, that's very interesting, isn't it?
Is that her slippers?
I think she's wearing her slippers. I do. I think she's wearing her slippers. Now, I'll take a little pause in proceedings to ask if anybody watching on any platform right now, be it YouTube, Twitch, brand YouTube, Twitter, could you please, if you should feel so inclined, first of all, subscribe to us, whatever platform you're watching on. Click that red subscribe button if you haven't done already. We would really appreciate it. And secondly,
if it's on Twitch.
Secondly, if you could share this, if you could click the share button and let people know we're here doing this, and ask people to come along, get involved, especially over on like YouTube and Twitch, where you can get involved in a chat. If you could come over, get involved, and come and have a laugh with us, because that is what we're going to try and do. What is the woman at the desk? Who's she got with her there?
I don't know.
Prime Minister, I think it would be fair to say, for some time. You've also submitted a letter of no confidence. Have you voted?
Yes, absolutely. I was the fourth person to vote.
Wow,
oh, he's bragging now.
Counts.
It was a long queue.
And how have you voted? I mean, we know.
That's Sir Roger Gale MP, and he has voted against Boris Johnson, obviously.
I think Sam actually hit on the nail on the head. It's an accumulation of factors. It's not just party.
What are they, Roger?
I put my letter in fact, as I think you know, Sophie, after the Barnard Castle affair, because I thought the Prime Minister's judgment was faulty. I thought so then, I think so now. I think all the events in between have just
this sort of angers me, because putting your letter in after the Barnard Castle affair affirms that quote unquote lockdown was the right thing to do, and that.
Right, the Barnard Castle affair was
Dominic Cummings.
Was Dominic Cummings testing his eyesight?
Yeah, it was. Remember? Yeah. I mean, it was.
So what's that got to do with Boris?
Well, because Boris didn't sack him.
Half a dozen, probably more people who might well throw their hats into the.
He stood by him as his advisor, didn't he? And he didn't sack him, I believe, until Christmas.
I better give you half a dozen.
Yeah.
Well, okay, Dominic Raab has been the deputy.
Oh, you know what? Every decision they've made's been fucking wrong. Almost every decision they've made.
I just shudder when I'm seeing, like I said earlier, when I'm seeing these tweets saying Boris made all the right calls on the coup.
Keep going. I'll be back in a sec.
When I'm seeing, like I said earlier. Now I can hear myself, John.
Sorry.
He was just, I believe, monitoring the Twitch stream. So, John's going for a little walk. I don't know where he's going or what he's doing, but he's off for a little walk. Are you not?
Yeah, I am. I'm just trying to find the bloody meeting.
Why?
So I can mute my mic. It's all right. You carry on. Carry on.
I will carry on. So we do have Sir Roger Gale MP here talking to a Sky News presenter. I don't know who these people are, but no. The point I was making is, once again, all of these Tory MPs that have been tweeting all day, oh, he's made all the right calls, be it on Brexit, be it on the COVIDs, be it on getting the economy back open. And what they're neglecting to mention is that he closed the economy in the first place. He is the one responsible for the economic damage in which we are now living. He is the one wholly responsible for the millions of people that are going to fall below the poverty line. And that has to be called out. That reality can't go unnoticed. And they're trying to do that, right? They're trying to rewrite history. They're trying to paint him as some kind of saviour. But he's not. He's no saviour. He's the oaf. He's the buffoon. Or if you want to say, he's the mastermind that has destroyed the economy, has destroyed millions of lives, whose policies have been responsible for people committing suicide, whose policies have been responsible for thousands, if not tens of thousands of people not getting cancer diagnoses when they should have got cancer diagnoses. These people are walking time bombs. There are still many, many thousands of people who don't even know they have cancer.
Sorry, old boy. As everyone's aware, or everyone who's a regular's aware, this isn't a regular time for us to be broadcasting. So, unfortunately, sometimes life gets in the way.
Yeah, as they say in Jurassic Park, John, life always finds a way.
Finds a way.
Yeah.
I do like that character. I like I think Jeff Goldblum plays a brilliant character in Jurassic Park.
He does, and we've got the new Jurassic Park movie or Jurassic World movie coming out like next week.
Dominion, is it?
Yeah, I think it's about. Oh, Sauron says, for fuck's sake, adverts. My apologies. Alexander Cameron, once again on YouTube, says Conservative has always been the cons, but that's true.
In what respect? I'm not quite sure. What, pros and cons, and he's saying Conservatives the cons?
No, as in they're con artists, John.
Oh, con artists?
Every politician is, right? They tell you they're going to do one thing to improve your life, and then they do fuck all except enrich themselves.
Tony Blair's the chief con artist of all time, is he not?
Isn't
Tony
he like
Blair?
He's kind of partially responsible for millions of deaths, so...
Partially? I mean, let's be honest, he is. Let's call him what he is. He is a war criminal.
I would say partially, because I think George W. Bush holds a
lot
of that as well.
He's an unrecognised war criminal, isn't he?
Yeah, I would be comfortable calling Tony Blair and George W. Bush war criminals. Absolutely. Let's have a little listen into Sky, shall we, John?
Yeah, let's see what's said.
Until we find out. And the results, of course, are going to dominate tomorrow's newspapers. I'm sure that will happen. We'll have our extended press preview and news review from 10:30 this evening with tonight's news and tomorrow's headlines. Joining us live from Downing Street will be the Daily Mirror's political editor, Pippa Creer, and the Times' Home Affairs editor, Matt Dathan.
My question is this.
You are watching our special programme on...
Why would the editor from a different media publication be joining you live from Downing Street? Why not have your own correspondence there, Sky?
Good question.
It's a very good question. Have they gone to adverts? They've gone to adverts, haven't they?
Yeah, they're maybe not allowed in or whatever, you know.
Well, you never know. But I still find it so hypocritical that like Kay Burley and Beth Rigby are even allowed to comment on these sorts of things, because they let's face it, the main issue, quote unquote, that these Tories have put in letters about is Partygate. Yeah, that's the main issue in their minds. So Beth Rigby and Kay Burley are just as guilty as anybody.
Well, yeah, they are. But I mean, let's be honest. Do you think any of these people aren't guilty of doing it?
Do you really think there's many people in the country at all who stuck to these rules?
Well, unfortunately, I think there are. I think there are people that did stick to the rules, and in some cases, I think it's quite a high proportion, because when you were out there, you could see that some of them were genuinely frightened,
especially in the supermarkets.
Actually, they lived in fear, and you still see it today.
Yeah, like I say,
I mean, I passed a woman in the street today, and she was wearing a mask.
Oh, you see,
and I thought, you know what? Why?
I've noticed something, and I was going to talk about this because I have noticed more people are wearing them.
Yeah.
Yeah, around here, I was in the supermarket. I was in Morrison's yesterday, and a good 10-15% of the people in there were wearing them. And I was puzzled. I was scratching my head because it's been at pretty much 98-99% not. And I was puzzled because a lot of the people that were wearing them were teenagers, early 20s. They weren't the elderly. The elderly don't bother around here anymore. They don't bother at all. They think they're Superman / Superwoman because they've had their 4 treats, and they do. I've had my 4. Nothing's going to harm me. Nothing's going to touch me. Get out of the way. What's that? Kryptonite? No, sorry, I've had my 4. It's as simple as that. And the other thing I keep seeing that I kind of find really sadistically hilarious, I guess, is all of these people who have had their 4, especially on Twitter, who are coming down ill with it.
Yeah, well, or dare we say it, some people seem to be suffering from sudden stoppage of life.
Yes, they do, but we can't for the life of us begin to opine on what the reason for that might be, John.
So Zorarm says that he went out for a walk today and the local area was deserted. I was out for a walk today as well, Zorarm. I took my eggs to the park.
You took what?
I took my eggs to the park.
Your eggs?
Yeah. Well, there was a bit of a smell developing in the van, and I thought, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
And so I'd got rid of the washing, so it wasn't that. I'd emptied the fridge, so it wasn't that. So I did a bit of a deep dive into the cupboards today, and I found in the back of one cupboard 18 eggs.
Oh, Jesus.
From France.
Oh, fucking hell. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, once again, if you are able to, if you're watching on Twitch or YouTube or Brand YouTube or whatever, please subscribe to the channel and share this video. Give it a good share.
It was like something from Stranger Things in there.
I don't doubt it. Alexander says, I saw a WHO video where they said health needs to be at the top and climate change is to blame. Who knew that? They do want climate.
Of course they want. They really do want climate lockdowns. I mean, they're putting a green tax on aviation fuel, aren't they? Except they're going to. Oh no, they were going to exempt private jets, but I think the backlash has been such that they've now put it onto private jets as well.
Oh wow! Let's have a listen in, see what they're saying over at the Houses of Parliament for a minute.
Okie doke.
So I feel the government needs renewed focus, and perhaps a new leader might provide that.
And you think that it is better to throw the dice, have the gamble that a messy leadership contest, followed by a new leader pressing reset on the party, maybe 2.5 years at max, out from a general election, provides more stability than Boris Johnson staying in post?
Well, I'll tell you what I think, and I think regardless of it all being two cheeks to the same arse, if you are going to succeed in this within this no confidence vote, the only honourable thing to do would be to hold a general election.
Yeah, but they won't do that, will they? They don't do that these days. They just transition leadership, and
well, that's because of
although
something...
no one voted for him as the leader of the party, do they just transfer it?
Well, you know what happened there, don't you?
Dictatorship.
Do you remember the coalition government between the Conservatives and Nick Clegg? Right?
Yeah, I do.
Good old Nick Clegg. They created something called the Fixed Term Parliament Act, which basically allows the Parliament to stay in place for 5 years, regardless of how much they screw up. So they have no need, no requirement to call a general election, but the honourable thing to do is to...
What makes you think that any of these people are honourable?
I don't.
Other than the fact they use it when they're addressing them in Parliament.
Oh, the right honourable gentlemen.
Yeah, well, are they? Are they honourable?
No, I don't think so. I think these people are self-serving snakes.
What does honourable actually mean in the dictionary? What's about it?
He's going to the proper dictionary definition of honourable.
Cambridge English? Is that acceptable?
Yep.
Okay. Honest and fair, or deserving praise and respect.
That's
an honourable person.
That definition does not gel with my vision of these 649 losers.
Well, certainly doesn't apply to any of the MPs that I know of.
Well, no, it does not.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, even this, right? Even this is a circus at the end of the day. Bread and circuses. This is a circus. This is just to
theatre.
It's theatre to placate the masses, and it's also to make it seem like, over the last sort of 2.5 years, the mantra has been make it look like we're doing something.
Yeah.
It's that all over again.
It kind of is. It's of no consequence to us as a little person.
Oh look. It's Jeremy.
Is that Jeremy? Is that Jeremy?
I'm pretty sure that's Jeremy. Hunt, yeah.
Let's see what she's saying.
I will be voting for change. So pretty clear there. Jeremy Hunt confirming he is going to be voting against Boris Johnson.
How honourable.
It's significant because really he is the
honest
first high-profile potential challenger to Boris Johnson.
But also, Jeremy Hunt is a zero coup fanatic who then also goes on record and says, I would never have locked down.
Former government minister, I should say, this is from Jesse Norman. He said that the Sue Gray report showed that Mr. Johnson presided over a culture of casual law-breaking at 10 Downing Street, going on to say, to describe yourself as vindicated by the report is grotesque.
You do realise that Boris Johnson is the type of man that if he wins this vote, he's going to rub it in their faces. He's just going to...
He's a bully. He has a bully.
People look at him as a buffoon, as an oaf, as a clown, but that's the character. That's not the man.
I wouldn't be surprised if at some point later, and you're right as a character, but I wouldn't be surprised if at some point later in the future that we discover that Jeremy Hunt's wife is a serving captain in the CCP.
Nothing would surprise me at this point. What's Beth got to say?
Would you really want to hear Beth?
Lines to take note, and in it they talk about trying to avoid a civil war, a blue-on-blue civil war will be vicious.
I have a question.
Apart. It says that it said we should reject.
Who thought it was a good idea to put that woman on TV?
About distracting, decisive, destructive.
Yeah, she doesn't come across well.
She is just so shrill. Hello, I'm Beth Wigby.
Jeremy Hunt.
Of tweets
saying that it was time.
She's just so awful. And Sky News had an opportunity, by the way, when they did put her on suspension for breaking the coup rules. They had an opportunity to sack her, and they chose not to.
Johnson then put out
her earpiece has become a brooch.
I was going to say, her earpiece is sitting nicely there. Our earpieces are sitting in nicely, aren't they, John?
Yeah, I don't find them any problem at all.
I quite enjoy my earpiece. Actually, I find them very, very comfortable.
She didn't exactly row back.
I don't think Johnson's going to call a snap election.
Jeremy Hunt today has come out himself. If you haven't mentioned this, has come out today himself.
I don't think he would call a snap election. No, he's got no need to.
What it means is it's time for him. And, you know, I don't want to talk about individual personalities.
Is she sober?
What I would say is that you can't say
Are you sure?
Repeatedly
because she's doing all this again.
The Prime Minister, while there's a war in Ukraine, and on the day Russia fires rockets into Kyiv, decide that it is time for a change of leader.
Yeah, there's no such place as Kyiv. Kyiv.
And Ukraine firing rockets at Starmer.
I wouldn't blame them.
So apparently the UK is going to give them long-range rocket launchers. Why would they need long-range rockets?
You tell me, John. Chrissy says in the chat, Kyiv.
Yeah.
Hold on. What's Beth got to say?
She said in a tweet, your pandemic preparation during 6 years as health secretary was found wanting and inadequate. Your duplicity right now in destabilising the party and country to serve your own personal ambition. She said, if you'd been leader, you'd have handed the keys of number 10 to Corbyn. You've been wrong about almost everything. You are wrong again now. That's a sitting cabinet minister. So on the one hand, number 10 is saying, let's not have a civil war. And then one person is actually stoking that, or, you know, a cabinet minister stoking that. And I think there was disquiet amongst MPs today because they felt, is the Prime Minister giving Nadine Dorries permission to do this, or is she freelancing?
Or is she drunk?
It does nothing to try and heal these very open, deepening and raw divisions.
Chrissy says her voice is like nails on a blackboard.
It kind of feels like there may be something keeping their power going.
Well, I'm kind of glad that Beth isn't in the host seat, so there is that.
Yeah, there is that.
As we know, are deciding the future of the Prime Minister right now, with a confidence vote in Boris Johnson taking place. Boris Johnson's cabinet ministers, Kit Malthouse, who joins us now. Thank you very much.
Oh, it's Kit Malthouse.
Have you voted yet, and how have you voted?
None of your business.
I have voted, yes. Voted for the Prime Minister within 5 minutes of the poll opening.
Voted for the Prime Minister to do what? Keep his job or lose it? I voted for the Prime Minister. It's not really an answer, is it, John?
Decide to say that you have got no confidence in the Prime Minister. So how can you be so sure that you do have faith in him?
Hold on. What's Kit got to say?
A dreadful calumny to level at me. I've been working with the Prime Minister closely since 2008. We were successful in City Hall.
You poor bastard.
Successful fighting crime over the last 2 or 3 years. We weren't allowed to take our phones in. If we did, I would have taken a photograph to prove it to you. But I definitely voted for him, as I'm sure a majority of the members of Parliament.
Do you think they're all lying?
We'll find out in about half an hour.
You say that you're sure that a majority of the parliamentary party will have voted.
So Mr. Malthouse there said we will find out how the party has voted within about half an hour.
Yeah, by about 8 o'clock we should know.
Yeah.
Obviously, the mood is challenging. People find it dismaying to go through this kind of process. It's less than ideal, but the vast majority of colleagues are...
Does that look like the sort of man that's positioned to know much about crime and policing?
Declaring themselves on social media, although we shouldn't.
What's his background? I don't know much about him.
But just take a look at him, right? Let's be shallow. We're larger gentlemen. That's fine, right? Let's take a look at that man. Say he went out with the police and was out on a raid and had to help chase down a criminal.
Well, why would he be helping in the fight?
Because he's the Minister for Crime and Policing. You've got to get stuck in, right?
Do that.
So what you're trying to tell me is the Minister for Crime and Policing actually has nothing to do with crime and policing?
Revelations about what was going on in Downing Street.
On a tactical level, definitely not. On a strategic level, then he should have.
So my question is this then. Why on earth is there a Minister for Crime and Policing?
That voters simply don't
good question. Well, that's a good point. Why is there a minister for anything in real terms? Because these are uneducated, unskilled lay people making decisions based on what they are told by the civil servants.
I mean, yeah, look at Sajid Javid and even Jeremy Hunt to an extent. What
makes him Minister of Health and things like that? I mean, he's not a doctor.
I mean, who the hell thought it was a good idea to make Matthew Hancock a health minister?
The health thought it was a good idea to elect Matthew Hancock.
Well, his idiotic constituents. That's who.
Yeah, I know, but I mean...
And yes, I'm sorry, and I'm going to say this, and it's going to seem snooty and snotty here, but every single person that voted for Matt Hancock, we're better than you.
Who thought it was a good idea to make Liz Truss?
We're not better than you, it's a joke. Huh? We just question your sanity, that's all.
Who thought it was a good idea to make Liz Truss Foreign Secretary? I mean, she's a bit as diplomatic as a kick in the teeth, isn't she?
Well, who thought it was a good idea to make Priti Patel Home Secretary?
Well, yeah, I can understand that because she's paving the way. She's following the narrative.
We're not going there tonight, John.
Well, yeah.
This isn't about that.
Doesn't seem to be stopping it.
Also, I just want to take this moment to thank all of our new subscribers over on YouTube and brand YouTube today. It's really nice to see.
Sorry, there was somebody on YouTube, RCW, said these guys are puppets. No, we're not. We're not puppets. I'm sure he's talking about the MPs.
I'm sure he is, because we're sitting here taking the piss out of them.
Okay,
we could be puppets.
Now, so Michael Gove. Let's talk about Michael Gove for a minute, right?
Must we?
Yes, we must, because I found out today, and if you've watched my video from today, I don't really follow what these people's cabinet positions are, and I really should, being a journalist, right? But we don't really cover that. But he's the minister, John, for levelling up. That's his position.
It's a made-up job.
The minister for levelling up.
That have been through this kind of process.
For levelling up what?
His character on Final Fantasy?
Who's the minister for levelling down?
Boris Johnson.
With Jeremy Hunt, I'm sure he can
Who determines if you've reached a level or not then?
Well, this is it. What even is levelling up? It's such a nebulous term. What is it? What does it mean?
Job. It's a made-up job.
Do you reckon it's the job given to Michael Gove to give him a ministerial salary to stop him from trying to overthrow Boris?
Yeah, probably. It's to pay for his habit.
To pay for his partying in Scottish nightclubs.
Yeah.
Over 100.
Yeah.
I do think he's going to do very well.
Oh, it's to pay for all that white powder.
With better numbers than is being forecast in the media. You've got to remember a lot of thrown up in the air to try and create momentum in a particular direction.
It's incredible. Levelling up. I mean, what does it even mean?
I don't know. Chrissy says, what game are we playing that we can level up? This is exactly right. RCW says, I think it's meant to say Javid, does have a head like a cricket ball.
Absolutely.
John calls him the skinny Sontaran. If you've watched Doctor Who, you'll understand that reference. Chrissy says, for him, the level of the marching powder up his nostrils.
Are you concerned about the damage this might do to the Conservative Party in Parliament? You know, we've seen this.
What do you mean the damage it might do? The damage is already done, and it's not over this.
Do you think it will be to draw everyone together afterwards?
The thing is, I'll be honest, there are people on Twitter that think the Conservative Party have done a great job.
I really do. I know.
And they think Boris is the best thing since sliced bread.
They really do. I mean, have you seen all the hashtag back Boris idiots?
Yeah. Well, I had a rant about it a couple of shows ago. Remember?
I mean, and no offense to these people, but backing that man is stupid. Backing any of them is stupid.
they're all actors. And I mean, Boris is the most obvious because it's like you say, the man, you don't know what he's like because he has played a character since he was like 2.
Yeah.
There's no genuineness about him at all.
I mean, that's why he calls himself Boris. His name isn't even Boris, it's Alexander. His name is Alexander, but he uses the name Boris because it helps invoke that perception of an oaf, a buffoon.
Yeah.
Because
and his friends don't call him Boris, do they?
No, they call him Alexander.
Yeah.
Because that's his name. The only reason that the public name for him is Boris is because it gives that extra bit of perception. Oh, look at Boris the buffoon. You can't say, look at Alexander the buffoon, can you? He knows full well what he's doing. He's intelligent. He's...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he is.
Adam says, hey all, I'm voting for Lord Buckethead. And Alexander says, as long as he doesn't level back to Aberdeen, all is good. That's Michael Gove.
Is that not... Is Aberdeen his constituency?
I'm not sure, but I believe it is, yeah.
So plenty of content there.
Who in Aberdeen is voting for Michael Gove?
Well, Aberdeen's a special case. Aberdeen, right? Where men are men and sheep are frightened. But you got to remember, Aberdeen still it always had more money than the rest of Scotland because it was the oil capital. Hold on, let's have a listen to what it said.
Always an unconventional path which took him to the heart of the establishment.
The oaf, the buffoon, the character.
Yeah. With an 80-seat majority, Tory MPs were told time and again to trust him through the turbulence. Holidays and wallpaper, but who paid for what? Upending the rules for an MP found guilty of sleaze, parties in Downing
John,
Street.
see how it looks with making the video full screen.
But dealing with Brexit, the pandemic, the cost of living crisis and war in Ukraine...
Oh yeah, that looks good.
Never allowed a moment for politics as normal.
Yeah, that's good.
All the time, gradually, the public were changing their mind.
It no longer looks good.
MPs today putting his survival to a vote.
It's frozen.
Veterans of past Tory leadership challenges clear. Whatever the result, there's trouble
It's moving, but it's jittery and crap.
Classic example of a party where its fractures become very, very open.
Pull it out, yeah.
They're looking for.
It's unfortunate. Chrissy says Abadoom. And once again, good evening to everybody watching on whatever platform you are watching on. We are awaiting the result of the no confidence vote in Boris Johnson. In the meantime, if you're watching on YouTube, Twitch, if you're watching on brand YouTube, feel free to, and we really appreciate if you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and if you are able to, share the video out on your social media. Click the share button, share us out. Invite people to come and join us because you'd rather our coverage and our laughter and joining us here than actually listening to these drill. I mean, you've got two options really, haven't you? You could listen to Beth Rigby or you could listen to us taking the piss out of Beth Rigby.
I'd rather listen to Beth Rigby.
I think the people on YouTube also would rather listen to Beth Rigby because two of them just ran away. But it is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah. if you are able to just share it out and invite people in to join us, we'd really appreciate it. And if, like I said, if you haven't subscribed yet, maybe we earn that subscription today. Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows?
I mean, look at these beautiful shots of the seats of power, John. The seats of power.
Could be a quite extraordinary turnaround if it happens, but of course, as Kit Marthouse says, some are predicting he's going to win thumpingly. Not long until we find out. You're watching Sky News. Coming up, we're going to be having continuing coverage of the no confidence vote in the Prime Minister.
What does thumpingly mean?
I'm not really too sure, John.
I think that's made up. It's got to be made up.
I think you're absolutely correct. I think it's... I mean, my rabbit thumps. When he's pissed off, he starts thumping the floor. Could that have something to do with it? No, his name is Waffle. The kids named him Waffle.
We're going to eat him.
I mean, I do keep telling them that not to get used to him. That's a joke, by the way. Why are these people laying out all that fake turf? And can I have it? This is in California.
So, Michael Gove was a member of Parliament for Surrey.
Okay, so why was he? Why did he get sort of?
He must have just been partying in Aberdeen. Don't know why.
So you think he was just? Well, he was definitely having too good of a time for Michael Gove.
He was there for something. Did you see the picture? Speaking of Scotland, did you see the picture today of the First Minister
holding the Union Jack?
That's got to be fake, surely.
Well, you say that. You say that. When was this taken? Because if it was taken during Jubilee ceremonies, it could well be real. Because
she can't hold the Union Jack.
Have you not been watching the Jubilee stuff? Nicola Sturgeon has been trying to fit in as much as possible. She has been so happy to be there, and the looks on her face, oh my God, I'm involved, I'm invited, I'm here. And like you say, she looks like, for the occasion, she's had a fucking eye lift.
Yeah. Do you think maybe this is trying to bring her back into the fold?
Maybe. What, to try and...
Doesn't push for,
to try and shut her up. Just say, Nicola, we've had enough of your shit, right? Stop with your independence gobbledygook, and if you do that, we'll let you come to the Jubilee. Now where's he gone? Oh, you're back now.
What do you mean, where have I gone? The Twitch stream's down, so it's not me.
The Twitch stream's up.
Yeah, you're showing us red bars on the network connection. You were showing us red bars.
Nothing went down on my end.
Twitch went down, mate.
No, we didn't.
Oh, what the hell's going on then?
No, I'm running at perfect frames. I haven't dropped a single one.
That's fucking bizarre.
That is bizarre. Would you like to share your screen again?
Yeah.
And nothing went down there, says Chrissy. Nope. Just you, John. Just you. He's frozen again. He's back. Share your screen. Just share your screen.
I'm trying to find the fucking meeting.
Oh, Jesus Christ. He can't even see. He can't even see me and him. He can't see us. He can't see us. So look, he's got big screen. Oh, there he goes. Bullingdon Boys has started sharing the screen.
Am I frozen again? No.
No, we're here. We're all good.
Election, it is exactly the kind of red wall.
I'm watching us, John.
That helped boost the Prime
on your
Minister
screen
in that election back in 2019, and it's really one of his big sells to.
We're watching ourselves.
Election winner, and yet, of course, here you have somebody.
Chrissy says John's looks like he's having an existential crisis.
Election to Hannah Davison, say.
Absolutely no idea, and you stopped sharing.
Yeah, there's no point in sharing us, is there?
I'll make you big again. There you go. Look, everybody can see now. Give him a smile, John. We will get this sorted as soon as. Oh, look, there she is.
MPs to potentially.
There she is.
Yeah. Pretend you're a fucking TV station. They said. Pretend you're professional.
Wakefield as well.
What?
Correspondent Nick Martin has been speaking to voters in Wakefield.
We've done it. He's done it, Alexander. He's done it. It's all good. We're sorted.
In the next few weeks, this cathedral city in West Yorkshire will
the
vote
result,
for a new MP. And the result could tell us a lot about how people feel about the Prime Minister and his government.
Will it? Because I don't think...
For so long, turned Tory in the last general election, and that helped to secure victory for Boris Johnson.
If it turned Tory, it's probably not going to stay Tory.
Ahead here. And if that's true, then the Conservatives
wait, what's this guy talking his guns about?
Some village... Right, so this...
Right.
What are you doing now?
I was just bringing us bang up to date.
Okay, cool. Bang up to date is good. So, what is the time, John?
It's I can't see the time.
He's just gone against his own word.
Well, we've been live for 56 minutes.
1952.
Restrictions. Why was he?
So we must be on the cusp of a result here.
Yeah, 8 o'clock, I think, the voting shuts.
So shall we make a prediction?
If it came
go on.
A general election, a vote.
Do you want to make the prediction, or do you want to do it in secret?
No, I think we should each
want
make.
to write it down?
No, we should just each make a fucking prediction, John.
Right,
but before we do, RCW wants to know if you've been working out.
Win here in 2019 was remarkable. Labour, after all, had held.
No, I have not been working. Thank you for that vote of confidence.
Fair enough. You could have lied there for a minute, and you could have. You could have said, "Yeah, well, thank you for noticing. All my work's been paying off." You could have said, but.
Live and die on his sword, and he made the rules. And
you know.
Right. Okay. What's your vote? Where do you put it?
I think. I don't see him losing this. I don't.
I'll definitely say the party.
Chrissy says he'll cling on.
He can't be trusted, and trust
He's
is
like
the main thing you need.
He will cling on. But put it this way: if he is ousted, it'll be by a very, very, very tiny margin. But I just
he won't lose it. I don't think he'll lose it. I think he'll win it easily.
Well, it depends on how many people submitted a letter of no confidence, because Graham Brady hasn't actually said that. So the minimum required is 54, so he needs 180 votes to survive, yeah? Or 180 votes against him will...
He needs 180 votes against him to have to go.
No, he needs 180 to survive, 50% plus one of his MPs.
Okay, right.
Right, so he needs 180 votes to survive. So it's pretty much the same either way. He needs about 180 votes either way in order to oust him. But for all we know, 200 people submitted letters of no confidence.
Yeah,
I don't think so either. And also, are the entire party there to vote? I don't think they are.
Election still coming up, of course, for the Prime Minister.
Like,
whatever happens tonight.
Can you imagine working for him, right?
Well, let's speak now to our political correspondent, Ali.
50% of the people that are in Parliament are going to be frightened of him.
Going on, and you've been
50% of the Conservative Party, because
they'll
be like,
on committee corridor, isn't it? It's kind of like
it's not just this, because even if he goes, he's still going to be an MP. He'll still be a complete and utter bastard.
Yeah, he'll still be an MP. He'll still be a bastard, but he will be barred from standing for party leadership in this next round of votes.
I know that, but he could still make himself really. I mean, you've watched the Right Honourable Alan Bastard.
I think he was quite proud.
Exactly. I think I mean he's been
make
one of
himself
the
a
very
right
first
damn
critics of the
nuisance.
Prime Minister, but he came out saying that it was
Anyway,
very painful.
I think
how
he'll
was that?
go.
And he said it was really painful.
Sorry, I don't think he'll. I think he'll.
Really had to think deep and hard about this.
I think so too, but then at the same time, we've got people
thinking deep and hard about.
Put out
Who?
a message on Facebook.
She said she was thinking deep and hard.
This has pained her, but she decided to vote against.
And it's quite
the Uber home.
She, of course, represents British Auckland, like the first Conservative MP to represent.
Well, but the way I'm looking at it is this: if strong and stable Theresa May managed to survive a vote of no confidence, anybody can.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that woman. Strong and stable. Remember when she said the most outrageous thing she'd ever done was like running through poppy fields?
No. Where did she find a poppy field?
Well, this is Theresa May we're on about.
Yeah. In her dreams.
She was probably running through it in the dreams, going, "The
probably getting
hills
chased
are
by the CIA
alive
in Afghanistan
with the sound of music."
Well, we need to look into that, because remember, I mean, we reported a couple of months ago that poppy production had been ceased by the Taliban. So I need to look and see how much cocaine is flowing into the US.
I find it extremely amusing that the Taliban, of all people, are starting a war on drugs. I find it extremely amusing.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the fucking Taliban, for fuck's sake. We will throw you off building if you sleep with man.
Yeah, well, no, I don't find it strange at all, because they're like a uber religious cult, aren't they? You know.
Yeah, that's true, and the ideology is very, very strict, isn't it? And it's very, very strict. They keep promising to let girls back into education, and then just don't.
Yeah.
It's no, we're going to do it. We're going to let the girls back into education. Honest.
Yeah.
What's this woman talking about? Also, how is this woman a political correspondent?
Veteran people like David Davis, you've got Theresa May allies. It doesn't feel organised, and I think therefore it's quite unpredictable. Worth saying on Theresa May, we just saw her going in a ball gown.
Yeah!
Which was amazing.
Theresa May voting in a ball gown.
Event or something.
Yeah, she said she's got a Jubilee speech that she's rushing off to make. But a bit of
colour.
But why didn't they show us Theresa May in the ball gown?
Going through Theresa May's mind right now.
Boris Theresa May in the ball gown. I mean, that's great TV. Why don't they show us that?
Exactly. That's strong and stable.
I'm rushing off to run through the poppy fields outside.
We're going to have continuing coverage of the crucial evening for the Prime Minister.
Is it a crucial, like I say, is this a crucial evening for the Prime Minister, or is this just a really bad attempt at a coup?
Is it more theatre?
Well, it's circuses for the masses, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, is it real? That's the thing.
But they're there and they're voting, so it's real in that respect.
Oh, yeah, I know that, but is it real? Is it a foregone conclusion? Do they know what's going to happen?
But does it even matter ultimately? Because the next person that they install, people will say the next person will be worse, but I disagree, because it's just the same agenda rolling on, no matter who is in that place, no matter who is in number 10. It could be Keir Starmer in there tomorrow. Nothing will change.
The narrative is always the same.
The narrative is the narrative of government appears to be the main role of government now is to create narrative and to stick to narrative.
Well, the main role of government's like it's always been. It's keep the population under the boot, right? Keep them under control, and nothing's changed.
No, and nothing will change.
Changed. No, but we're not in cartoon. 40 degrees here.
I mean, all of the people on both sides of, and I've said this a million times, but it's true. All of the people on both sides of the argument of the last 2 years against restrictions and things like that, on both sides of it, the one unifying factor that we've all got is that this government have to go. But it's for different reasons. It's like we're all watching the same screen, but we're seeing two different films. And it goes so much deeper than that, because The Rock goes so much deeper than this government and this cabinet. The Rock goes through all 649 of them and beyond.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I'm no stranger. Well, you guys are no stranger to my views on big government. It all needs to go. It's not doing any good for the real people of the country. It's merely there to line their pockets and to give them an easy ride.
Absolutely.
There's nothing for us.
You could almost say we're anarchists, but not quite, I would say.
No, not quite.
Because some government is fine. Some government is fine. Government doing what government is supposed to do, which is to keep us as safe and as free as possible, whilst not intruding and invading in our lives as much as possible. But what we're seeing here, big government, even bigger government, I mean, they're now trying to criminalise us for loud protest.
Yeah, well, we're back to the social contract has been completely destroyed by them.
Absolutely.
I feel no compunction about not following anything government says anymore.
I agree. And I mean, we're the journalists in the situation. We are simply giving our opinion. We're not telling anybody to do anything or not do anything.
Yeah.
right? And this is an opinion piece that we're doing tonight. Whilst we are reporting on what's going on, this is an opinion piece ultimately.
Social commentary, I would call it.
I would agree. And once again, if you're watching on YouTube, brand YouTube or Twitch, if you've not liked and subscribed, we are very disappointed in you. And secondly, if you could please share this out and invite people to come and join us.
Everybody go wrong.
The best way forward. I don't agree with them.
Nobody has had to force me to.
Oh, it's Jacob. Nobody. I back the Prime Minister wholeheartedly.
Jacob's got a fantastic accent, hasn't he?
He does. I mean, I think I can do a pretty good Jacob.
I'd love to pull his tongue out.
That's a bit far, John. That's a bit far.
The future of the Prime Minister is about to be decided after Conservative MPs have just finished casting their ballots.
They finished
in Boris Johnson. He needs a simple majority of 180 Conservative MPs to vote in his favour in order to cling onto power. Lose and he will be ousted. Well, in the next hour, we're going to be hearing from cabinet ministers and also some of those rebels looking to topple their leader. Plus, we will, of course, bring you the result as soon as we have it. That should be around 9 p.m.
You fucking what?
From many Conservative MPs who are starting to give us a bit of an indication about how they have.
Well, we will continue going until we will continue going.
Red Wall, the first ever Conservative MP.
Why is it taking an hour to count this vote? Surely they were voting and they were counting as they were voting. Or is that idea too fucking efficient for them?
Well, maybe it's secret ballot, in which case they put them in a box.
Find out. First, though, our political editor.
It's only a couple of hundred votes.
I was going to say, even if it is a secret ballot, they've got 360 votes to count. They could do that twice in 20 minutes.
Split apart. The uneasy Jubilee truce between the PM and his party over.
Chrissy says she's got plans at 9 p.m. and it's not Love Island. Well, I'm fucking glad it's not Love Island, or we'd have fallen out. I'm not going to lie.
The Prime Minister.
Programs like that really are fucking bread and circuses, aren't they, John?
Hold on, sorry, let me turn the sheet down. Right, carry on.
I was going to say, programs like Love Island really are bread and circuses.
I've never seen Love Island.
I mean, I accidentally...
watch this fresh.
Well, I accidentally flicked on an episode once, about 5 years ago. And the people on it, combined... They've probably got an IQ of about 7. Literally, the only things they've got going for them is the fact that they're in shape, right? And that's it.
And remember, people, if you're going on a long journey and you wish to entertain yourself, or perhaps your partner or children, then you can children of a certain age, i.e. they need to know swear words. You can always download the podcast from chasingdissent.com or any of your favourite podcast
providers,
such as Spotify, Apple, Google. We're on almost everything. The latest podcast, Weekend at Bernie's, Jubilee edition.
Militant Mushroom says, "Are they using Dominion to count the vote?"
Possibly, yeah.
So whilst we're waiting for this vote, John, update us about what you were talking about last night with Dominion and voting.
Yeah, well, yeah. So Georgia had a problem with their vote in the congressional House voting thing that they're doing in America. Do they call it the midterms or whatever? So the third place candidate, his voting pattern looked quite strange in that some of the electoral, some of the electoral stations were returning a nil result, which was a bit unusual.
Yeah.
So they decided to have a look at it, and what they did was they took all the votes and ran them through the machines again, but that didn't help it. So look at all the people in the background looking at Nadine. They're on an audio tour.
Those poor kids, right? Imagine that. Imagine that, though. You go for a tour of Parliament, and the one almost famous MP you see is the possible alcoholic.
Right. So anyway, so they did a hand count, and the person who was third then became first, and the person who was first then became third, which means there will now be a runoff between the first and second. formerly the third and second. So these Dominion, and they were Dominion machines. They just should not be used. You shouldn't be using machines.
No, and I said this in last night's show, didn't I? I said we should not be using machines to count votes at all.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I believe the only way that a vote can be counted fairly is in closed conditions, by hand, with poll watchers from each and every party involved.
Yeah.
Providing scrutiny.
Yeah.
Otherwise.
And
also.
France used Dominion.
Oh, and now Macron's president again.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm inferring nothing from that.
No, I'm just stating facts. Good evening, Mr. Jungle Griffin. Good to see you.
Good evening. And good evening to all of you watching on whatever platform you are watching on. Unfortunately, we can only see the chat from Twitch and YouTube tonight. So if you are on those platforms, hello, and you can say hello back in the chat and we'll try and get to you as well. The one thing we haven't done now, and we've been live for over an hour, is put out a little bit of an appeal to you, ladies and gentlemen. And that is, if you find any value in the work that we do here, and not just things like this, but the 3 nights a week we do our scheduled live shows, the interviews, the on-the-ground stuff, and the off-stream videos as well. If you find any value in that, then please consider giving us a little support in return. All we ask is a mere £1 a month or more if you can afford it. But if you can do that, then we would really, really appreciate it. If you can't, we understand completely. Times are tough, and we will still continue to put out this content. And you'll still be able to consume it free of charge. But if you can support us, it's patreon.com/Chasing Dissent or subscribestar.com/Chasing Dissent. And like we say, £1 a month if you can afford it. But you can give us more if you want. There are other tiers, but times are tough, and we understand that. And if you can't afford it, then please, we wouldn't want to take money that you can't afford to give. Hopefully, we can grow this shit and we can make some income elsewhere. But until such time, we would really, really appreciate any support that you can provide. And if you can't, we understand.
Who's this guy?
But turn it up. We'll have a listen.
British people and the people of Wolverhampton South West elected me with Boris Johnson as a Prime Minister. I don't believe it's for us to change the Prime Minister. It's the British people who elected him, and I stand behind him and support him.
You're right, mate.
Constitutionally, it is.
In what way?
I don't think it's right that they should be able to change the Prime Minister when he was elected.
You know what? I wholeheartedly
he was the party leader when the election was called.
He was, and I believe that they only have the 80-seat majority because when people went to the polls, they were voting for the cult of personality that is Boris Johnson.
Yeah.
They weren't voting for their local MP. They were voting for Boris.
Stood behind Boris Johnson and continued to deliver for the British people.
And that's not an endorsement of Boris Johnson.
No.
That's simply telling you what happened, because that's what happened.
Mm-hmm. It's not the right time to be doing this, and it's not for the good.
Well, I would say 2.5 years. Actually, I'm going to push back on this idiot because it's the right time to tear the entire system down.
Well, it's always the right time to tear the entire system down. But what I would say is, I think they need to get rid of this ridiculous fixed-term parliament thing.
I think the fixed-term parliament act has to go as well.
It's just crazy. You know, what's the point? What's the point? Because it means they can do stupid things for 5 years.
What it is it's a simple consolidation of power, isn't it? We've got 5 years to enrich ourselves as much as possible, and believe me, that is all they're doing.
Yeah, and this is what I don't like about the American system as well, because generally when you elect a president, he's got 8 years, because it's very rare that a sitting president doesn't get re-elected.
Yeah.
I'm not going into the last one, right? Okay.
I mean, unless Dominion's involved, obviously.
Yeah, but generally they get 8 years, and they just go fucking berserk. You know, and in year 5, when they've been re-elected, that's when they put in all the fucking really stupid stuff.
John, I did not have sexual affairs with that woman.
And I don't mean putting stuff in that box.
Well, to be fair to Monica, right? To be fair to Monica, she's managed to avoid. She's managed to avoid being part of the body count.
Yeah, she has. I must admit though, I'm not quite sure what he saw in her.
Okay, let's stop you right there. Because what does he see in Hill Dog?
Oh, that's nothing to do with him. That's a marriage of convenience. That's. Oh, have you never heard the story that Hillary tells?
That Hillary tells?
Yeah. Hillary tells us.
Regale us with the story of Hill Dog.
Right, so Hillary and Bill are travelling. Well, this is, I think, while he's governor of Arkansas.
Right.
And they're travelling and they pull in and they get petrol, and Hillary goes in to pay for it. And the guy's out there going, "Oh wow, that's tremendous! That's the governor right there." And she's going, "Yeah." And he's only the fucking governor because I'm there behind him, and he's going to be the president one day.
He was though.
And he was, yeah. And I've no doubt she effectively was the president. So for her to try and grab the presidency, by running for it herself was just like icing on the cake.
Yeah, but what I found so funny about that whole situation was she made such a big deal about when old Donny Boy said he will respect the result of the election if he wins at that debate, right? And she was like, "Oh my God, he's not going to accept the result. He's not going to accept the result."
No,
she still doesn't accept the result of 2016 now.
I know.
She still doesn't accept it.
Oh, and she doesn't accept anything. Do you remember when they had the Benghazi congressional hearing thing?
Yes.
You remember the ambassador? The ambassador got raped by a broom handle, right?
Yes.
By the mob and killed on the street.
Yes.
Along with a couple of security guys.
Yes.
So they're going through what happened to him and they're drilling Hillary, and at one point she turns around and just shouts at them, "At this point, what difference does it make?" And it's like, for fuck's sake. Of course it makes a difference that you, as the Secretary of State for Defense, right, refused to send in a fucking SEAL team that was less than 10 minutes out.
Absolutely.
So yes, it makes a massive difference, and it just shows you exactly the kind of person you are and what you're dealing with.
Yeah, well, but the thing is, once again, was Donald Trump a cult of personality?
No, if anyone from the Hillary Clinton camp are listening to this, we're great supporters of Hillary. I don't want to be number 59.
I'm halfway dead anyway, John. I'll say what I want.
Yeah, she's a fucking she was certainly the driving force behind that relationship and behind that.
Well, I just think that
team as such.
Well, what I have to say about anyone who aspires to power is that they shouldn't be anywhere near it.
Well,
anyone.
As I always say, if you actively seek office, you should be disbarred from holding it.
You absolutely should be. People should be forced into office.
Yeah, I agree.
People should be forced into. It should be dispassionate. It should be random. And people should be forced into office.
Like jury duty, almost.
Almost, yeah. And given a meager salary.
Well, my theory is what you should do is you should be selected for it. You should have to pass certain criteria, right? So, like a background check, if you like, to show that you're of reasonably stable mind and body. You're a British citizen of at least 10 years or something like that. Right?
No, I would say natural born citizen.
Right? Okay.
Same as the American president, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, okay. So you need to be natural born British.
That would immediately exclude Johnson, considering he was born in New York.
Well, would it? Because both his parents were British, weren't they?
Doesn't matter. He was born on American soil and got American citizenship.
Well, he did, that's true. Anyway, so natural born British, which is fine because if you immigrate, then your kids will be natural born British.
Absolutely.
So they can still stand and all that. So natural born British, much like Obama, who despite having come from the African subcontinent, was born in Hawaii, wasn't it? Hawaii. But anyway, there's maybe a theory that might go on down the rabbit hole one day. Anyway,
Obama and the Kenyan birth certificate, is that what we're going on about?
Yeah. Anyway, so natural born, selected, passed relatively mediocre tests. You know, you don't need to have like an IQ of 160 or whatever, but you need to be sensible. And then once you're selected, you're, let's say, installed for 4 years, right? You're paid exactly what you got paid in the job you were in.
So at this
if you were
point,
on benefits, you got benefits, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, if you were a CEO of Pfizer, you got £600 million a year.
Yeah.
Whatever, right. But you got what you got paid, and then after 4 years, you get pumped back to the same job. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, but then I would also say after that 4 years, you would be allowed to capitalise on your experiences. You'd be able to do books, speaking events, whatever.
Yeah,
make as much money as you want.
Like.
Yeah, make as much money as you want. But whilst you're in office, you can't be doing second jobs. You can't be giving favourable. Basically, you can't be a corrupt piece of crap.
And expenses would be stringently controlled.
Absolutely. I'd say we pay their bills.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We pay their bills. We'd let them have their
You
bills
wouldn't be out
paid.
of pocket. You wouldn't be out of pocket, but you wouldn't be in pocket either. You would be exactly as you were.
Yeah, I think that's hard to implement, but I think at the end of the day, it's a start on the road to ideas of how we could tear down and replace this current system that benefits nobody but the people inside it.
Yeah. Definitely.
Do we have a result yet?
No. It's only 20 past 8.
They should have counted it by now.
Who's that? Who's this? Kenny Bob.
It's probably the one that Boris now has his eye on. I mean, the man has so many affairs.
Yeah. I think the other one does too. Yeah. What's her name, Miss Piggy?
You think that she's able to have affairs?
Last few years have seen
some
huge
I'm not.
stories.
I would run the other way.
Yeah, you would, but you know,
These stories have been driven
let's
by
face it.
politics.
Some people have no standards.
The people in power.
Everybody looks at everyone differently, don't they? You know, everybody has
Beauty
their
is in the eye of the beholder, John.
Exactly. I mean,
Or
look at him.
if it's Friday night, beauty is in the eye of the beer holder.
Look at that talking stick that's going to be, well, the what's her name, Catherine, right?
Mm.
I don't find her attractive at all.
Whilst I personally don't find her attractive, that's just my personal taste, as you say. I can definitely see how Billy Boy is punching up.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about it. She's better looking than he is.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
But I just don't find her that attractive.
The staff are being infected.
What's this?
They make
My God, some of these.
all of the time.
Do you know what?
Guy things
But look how panicky and so much. All of this. Oh, we've got to put on the PPE. We've got to put on the suits. Oh, it's all so bad.
And then he's wearing his mask under his nose.
Yeah, but then I would have gone into that same room with absolutely nothing on and hobbled out fine.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, anyone would. You know.
Remember when I was in the hospital?
Here we go. What's I thought they were going to do a piece on the Great Barrier Reef, but
no, I think it's just to make you watch. They're somehow going to turn this. This is going to.
No, it's a relax.
Is it a relax until they start telling us about fucking climate change, John?
No, it's just it was just a relaxation moment.
It's just it's basically
take the moment.
To set yourself away from the circus for just a minute.
Yeah.
Have a look at the fishes.
Chill.
Ivan Bergnon.
I bet they've dumped all that fucking plastic in there.
What to
show them pulling it back out?
We need a good shot here, boys. We need to find some plastic in the water. Dump it in. Dump it in.
It's all round the ship. They've fucking been throwing plastic in the water.
They absolutely have, because it was just centered around his bloody boat.
That's set up. That's like Bear Grylls doing his setups and.
Oh my god!
Remember Drop the Dead Donkey? That was tremendous. That used to be great. Remember Damien? He used to do setups all the time.
Unconventional path, which took him.
Hold on.
It's just an advert for Boris. That's all it is.
Yeah, well, because let's face it, we know, don't we?
Yeah, we know he's going to win. He's going to win.
We know he's going to win. And then once again, all these rebels will have done is solidified his position for a year. At the end of the day, all they have done is solidified his position. There's no result yet, Mr. Jungle.
Are we going to go Night of the Long Knives? Because basically he's untouchable for the next year.
Yeah. Will he resign in a few months, though, or do you not think he'll take the Theresa May line?
No, I don't think he would. I think he's so bullish and such an egotist that he'll just hang on.
He'll just hang on and continue to act and do seemingly as he pleases, but I still feel like he's controlled, right?
Look. How do you get every world leader to say the same thing in lockstep?
Build back better, ladies and gentlemen.
How do you do that?
Well, it's a script.
How can you do that unless it's scripted?
It is a script.
It's like TV news, right? You've all seen the clips. Every channel in the States, right? And they all have the same bit of news, right?
Yeah.
And they read it in their own people read it, and they maybe change one or two words, but the message is always the same. You know, build back better, build back better.
Yeah.
And they run through like 50 channels, and the message is entirely the same.
Yeah.
Scripted. And that's exactly what's happened in the world for the last 2 years. It's been completely scripted.
And the question is, who is writing that script?
Yeah, you can't have every world leader saying the same thing. That's just impossible.
No, it's concerning, to say the least. But we're told to simply pretend it doesn't exist.
Yeah. We're told to sit back and enjoy the theatre.
Yeah.
Which is what we're doing just now. We're just enjoying. This is like a night at the theatre for us, because this is just a play.
So Chrissy says Papa K is in Big Papa Klaus. I think he's more like a Bond villain.
Time now to recap some of today's other main.
Do you know what I mean?
You know what? You know what they say? They always say it, and they're always right. You follow the money if you want to know what the hell's going on. So you've got to go right to the top. Follow the money.
Yeah.
Where is the money? It's not with Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, right? They're not really the richest men in the world. The money's in the banking system.
Absolutely.
And the banking system is completely controlled by one person.
Jesse Norman.
Rothschild.
He has said the Sue Gray report showed Mr. Johnson presided over a culture of
and with people with such control over the financial system, with the financial monetary system, the monetary values of the globe being in a private hands, a country can never truly be independent, surely.
Well, that's the problem, because if you look at the countries that are all on the axis of evil, right? They're all the countries that don't subscribe to either the World Bank or fall in line with the current monetary system.
So what you're trying to tell me is that the
Brazil,
idea,
Russia, China, they're all outside the current banking system, and they are the bad countries.
Yeah, but China is a bad country.
Yeah, okay, but it doesn't matter. All the bad countries don't subscribe to the monetary system.
I mean,
that's why they are the bad countries. Now I know China. Well, the thing is, China's a complete. China might as well be fucking Martians, right? Because the Chinese do not think the same way we do. This is there's a big cultural divide here.
Yeah, but I think the reason is because they are so greatly conditioned from birth, right?
No, it's different from that because North Korea, South Korea, Japan, Taiwan, Vietnam, all the Asian countries, they think substantially different from the West, right? There's a big difference.
Yeah, but it's cultural.
Yeah, it's cultural. Yeah,
it's nothing to do with levels of intelligence. It's simply cultural.
Nobody's mentioned levels of intelligence.
No, but people do try to go there, and that argument is made quite often.
Well, but why would they go there? Because people from the East generally have a higher IQ than white people.
Absolutely. Asians are always greatly overrepresented here in the West in the top of their classes for most things, right?
Yeah, well, they're very generally their IQ, I think, is between 10 and 20 points higher than the average for a white person.
So what you're saying is they're on par with us?
Leader of the Conservative Party that has really recovered from this sort of vote.
How?
I mean, I've done an IQ test and it's not low.
I'll tell you who doesn't have a high IQ.
Go on.
Whoever's counting this fucking vote. How hard is it to count 360 votes?
So what have they got going for themselves? Because they don't have a high IQ and they don't have any manual dexterity.
I think what he means is
Mr. Jungle Griffin says the Asians work bloody hard whilst we're in the pub they're studying. Well,
yeah, they do.
I think, you know, I can't relate to that statement because I don't go to pubs and all I do is study, right? All I do is study. So
yeah, see, I can relate to that because when I was at the police college, I had to work more on my fitness than I had to work on my mental abilities, right?
What happened?
Well, I did more fitness work than studying, right? So I would study for half an hour an evening after the day's lessons. I would then go to the gym for an hour and a half, and that would involve at least one, usually 2 games of squash and a workout on the strength machines and possibly a run. I would get up at 7:30 in the morning and I'd go for a half-hour swim before classes started. So I was working on my fitness, and I went from a D to an A by the time I graduated.
Yes.
So from the point of view of studying, though, I did half an hour a night, and some guys were locked in their rooms or dorms or whatever, and they were studying all the time because after I'd been to the gym, I went to the pub for 2 hours, right? Every night.
So all that hard work, you just drunk it away, John.
Yeah, and then at the end of it, I won the academic trophy for the highest mark of the year.
Yes, and I've seen that as well. I have seen that. He definitely did do that. He showed it to me.
I am one of those annoying people that read something once and that's that. I know it.
Yeah, you have a photographic memory just like me, right?
Yeah, well, I can't. It's not photographic in that I can't replicate it, but I can give you the gist of it.
Oh, I can replicate it.
No, I can't do that, but I can understand something.
It's like my wife's going to be quite astonished because you know that I used to drive to and from Paris pretty much every 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Right. I can now do that drive right to where I need to be without a sat nav because I did it once and then I know the route. I can. Yeah. My wife's going to be pretty astonished when I don't put the sat nav on. She's going to be, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Oh, God, she's not been for a while, has she?
She's never been over in the car with me.
Oh, right, okay.
So, and I'm driving them over in October. So I'm taking the kids as well. It's going to, you know, finally something nice for the kids. Well, saying that, not this week, obviously, because I'm here, but next week we are away. And believe me, I will be doing the show still. Right?
Okay. I was going to say, you should let me know.
Yeah, my wife's father paid for us all to go to Butlins.
Again?
Well, he paid for it.
All right, cool.
He got us a 3-bedroom apartment. I'm quite, you know, basically he's not been around for pretty much most of the kids' lives.
Yeah.
And he's also
guilty.
He's not very well, and he's trying to make up for it. And you know what? All power to him. He's actually doing a good job, and not because he's taking us all to Butlins or anything like that, but because he's actually putting in the time and he's actually turning up and he's being there when he says he will, and he's doing the things that I never thought the man would do, and so I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. I really am, and normally I wouldn't do that with people because Yeah. Normally I wouldn't do that for people.
Pardon me. Right, what time is it now?
Yeah. My wife's father got us all a 3-bedroom apartment at Butlins next week.
It's
so
only 8:30. Bloody hell.
So we're gonna head away and we're gonna do that. And he's paid for the food as well. So we literally don't really have to do any spending money either.
That's cool.
Just do all the free things. We'll go to the shows. I am missing a Queen tribute act for Down the Rabbit Hole, so I'm kind of gritting my teeth about that. I quite like the I quite like the Queen tribute act they have. They are good.
You could miss that one if you want, because it's not the kind of thing you're into, is it?
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about it in the week, because
yeah,
you know, when it comes to 9/11, I've watched Loose Change. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm aware. Hello, Vaughan. Hello, Shalini. Good evening.
Hello.
We hope you are doing well tonight. And once again, if you're watching on YouTube, please consider giving the video a like and a share. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, whatever platform you're on, whatever platform you're watching on, if you're not following or subscribing, if you feel like our ramblings, our rantings, our conversational pieces have earned your subscription, then please feel free to click that button and the notification bell. Vaughan says, I've been here for an hour. Yes, Shalini, we are watching Sky News because we've been taking the piss out of Sky News and we've been having conversations as we go. But we are waiting for the result of this vote of no confidence in Boris Johnson. What's the young lady got to say, John?
The vote in the Prime Minister was triggered after 15% of Conservative MPs wrote to the chair of the 1922 Committee of Backbench MPs, that's Sir Graham Brady, and called for the Prime Minister's resignation. Let's have a little listen now to how he then announced the news.
How did he announce the news, John?
Threshold of 15% of the Parliamentary Party seeking a vote of confidence in the Prime Minister
this is Brady.
has been passed. Therefore, a vote of confidence will take place within the rules of the 1922 Committee. That vote will take place this evening in the House of Commons between 6 and 8 o'clock, and we will announce the result shortly thereafter. There will be arrangements for proxy votes for any colleagues who can't be present.
So they did do proxy votes
in Westminster, and we'll notify colleagues of those arrangements in the near future.
So I'll say this, John.
Yeah.
The fact that they allowed proxy votes for people that weren't there,
yeah.
All power to Theresa May showing up in her ball gown. She could have just not bothered.
Yeah, true.
She could have just not bothered. She could have had a proxy vote. Shalini says we've started watching Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan.
So the Obi-Wan show is every Wednesday on Disney Plus. So once a week on a Wednesday. Until I think there's only 3 left.
I caught up with the boys over the weekend. That was good.
I've caught up with the boys completely.
Because I hadn't seen the second season, so I watched that over the weekend. It was bloody good.
The Boys is such a good show because it just absolutely dunks on culture, and it doesn't just dunk on. You know how we see shows that consistently dunk on the right wing. I'll say that in inverted commas. This show dunks on everyone.
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah.
I mean, in the
and it's good because the underlying thread is that you cannot change things by being part of the system.
That is, and also the underlying thread is that there are no heroes, right?
Yeah, but you cannot. The main thing that I get from it is you cannot change something by being part of the system, because they've tried it in season 1, they tried it in season 2, and now in season 3, Huey has come to the realization that Ritual's way is best.
Yep, stepping outside of the system is the only way.
One of the most stinging.
And that's what I hope we do here. We step outside of the system. We are our own system, John.
Yeah, the Boys is into episode 3 as well, isn't it?
Yeah, they dropped the first 3 episodes on Friday. And then it's 1 episode a week on Fridays after that.
Anne Nadine Dorries all told Sky News that they believe that Boris Johnson is going to comfortably survive this evening.
I think he'll comfortably survive as well. Like you said, this is all one big circus, and everybody's enjoying it, right? It's like the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial. I reckon we could have got tens of thousands of subscribers if we'd sat here streaming that trial every day. right?
You know, we probably could have actually.
An exceptional, good,
but
we would have had to have sat here and
the election
sat through that every day.
Yeah, we could have done, and I think there was absolutely an opportunity there. But is it just one big circus? Was it one big distraction? Was it one big distraction at the right time?
I don't know. Possibly.
I will say.
What did it distract them from?
Whatever these arseholes are doing in the background.
Yeah.
Whilst the world is gripped, with this trial.
Well, it kind of get rid of. I mean, it kind of get rid of the incursion in Central Europe. That's kind of died a death, hasn't it?
I mean, we hear about it every now and again. Mr. Vladimir, he does keep popping out. I need some weapons.
Yeah, that was going to be my. That was close to being the title for the last podcast, the Red Rubbleizer. But I think I'd go with the. I think I like what I went with. Did you see that guy that walked by with peach trousers?
What, in there?
I mean, bloody hell, what's that? This is just ludicrous.
I think you've gone back too far, John.
Well, I've gone back too far.
You've gone back way too far.
It's very difficult because
it's live.
Yeah.
Militant Mushroom says, yup, big distraction. First week in trial, both wear a B pin on the same day.
As a rather self-indulgent.
Is this live again?
And so I think it's important people get behind it.
That isn't
it. Let's stay live.
Yeah, okay.
Because I want to know when this result comes in. Scroll back up, John.
He thinks he can win over some of those critical seats to Henna
there you go.
Yeah.
Now they can see. And look, right, the main presenter here, she's a pretty lady. I don't know who she is. Somebody in the chat probably knows who she is. But this is what they do, isn't it? They give you a bit of eye candy. Believe what we say.
Look at her arm, right?
Nick Martin,
even when she lifts her arm, it looks almost as if the hand isn't part of her arm because of the colour of the dress. And
yeah, no, I saw that.
It looks like she's a robot.
Maybe she is, John.
An android.
Maybe all modern newsreaders are androids, John. They're certainly programmed.
I really didn't notice that one.
Now a recent poll suggests that Labour are 20 points ahead here. And if that's true, then the Conservatives could...
Apparently, according to Vaughan, Sky likes to keep showing Nadine's big jubblies.
Yeah, I hadn't really noticed.
I hadn't noticed, but now Shalini's telling Vaughan to check his. She's his partner, by the way. Tell him to check his personal telegram. Maybe she's chastising him for noticing Nadine's jubbly. What the fuck are you talking about her jubblies for, Vaughan?
Who are these guys? What's this?
Is it the partying that's really got you upset?
This is where a by-election is happening, I believe.
Oh.
If it came to a general election, a vote now, would you be happy for him to continue as a prime minister?
Hold on a second, I thought I heard my door going and I shouldn't be.
Do you think, right, here's a question and I'll throw it to the chat. Do you think the vast majority of the country give a single shit about who is prime minister? Because, quite frankly, I think the biggest worry on most people's minds, certainly on my mind as a parent, is when am I going to be able to afford my kids' next meal? My electricity, I'm on a meter at the moment, £8 a day right now. How am I going to afford that? That's just electricity, that's not gas as well. £8 a day. These are my biggest worries, and when I look at my quote-unquote politicians, I look to them to solve that sort of thing. And the way they should have solved it is exactly how France solved it. And I never give credit to politicians, except in this case, because Emmanuel Macron, no matter how much of an arse he is, he legislated that the energy companies could not rise prices more than about 3.54%. Our government at any time had the power to do the same thing. They could have done the same thing. They could have held an emergency session. They could have legislated that the energy companies could not raise their prices to the extent that they have, and they chose not to. They have chosen not to do so. And that says more about them than you think it does, because they are aware that a massive amount of people in this country are going to fall into fuel poverty. And they are. And I'm one of them. And so what they're doing is they're making people dependent. Rather than legislating against profiteering, they are saying, we'll give you these loans you didn't ask for, but now you owe us. Now you owe us. Look what we did for you. You didn't ask us to do it for you, but we did it. Adam says, does anyone think that Boris is listening to Eye of the Tiger right now? Rising up, back on the street, did my time, took my chances.
Hi.
Hi there, John.
Right, sorry about that. What's happening there?
Not much is happening at the moment. I just went on a bit of a rant about our politicians and how, let's face it, the country, the vast majority of people in this country don't care who's sitting in number 10. They care about where the next payment for the bills is going to come from.
Yeah, they do.
And once again, this is circuses, and so I'm on metered electricity, so I pay as you go. Yeah, John, I'm paying £8 a day simply for electricity at the moment. £8 a day. I cannot afford it. It is, and I'm more than happy to say that, because it's the truth, and we're struggling, and we aren't even the worst off people going. Do you know what I mean? We are struggling. How many people are struggling? How many people are going to fall below the poverty line? And how many people have already fallen below the poverty line? And they could have stopped this when it comes to the energy with a simple legislation that says that the energy companies cannot rise prices more than about 3-4%, because otherwise they're profiteering. Because as we know, the price of crude at the moment is not soaring. Which means if the price of crude and other energy is not soaring, and it's not...
Gas is what, 74% down at the same time last year?
So if this stuff isn't soaring...
That's wholesale gas.
All that they are doing to you is profiteering.
Yeah.
And your government could have stopped them at any point. But they didn't.
And much as we hate to say it, Macron did.
I've just said that.
Yeah.
Whoa.
We've seen reports they are being blocked by police, so we're going to try and find a way out.
So this, as I opened it, it fizzed up and out the can.
Oh.
It hasn't even been shaken up.
What's the temperature though?
Hot.
Sky News, Beijing.
I've got the fan on, John.
27 degrees then.
Look, I'm sitting here in a sleeveless shirt and a pair of shorts.
Yeah.
You either live and recover.
And I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed at all. It's bloody hot in here. Are we returning to Sky News right now? Oh, she's back.
Now we really are into the final stretch.
Are we?
No confidence vote in the Prime Minister, which ended at 8 o'clock, and those results are expected very shortly at 9 p.m. Is when we are expecting things to run, although of course these things can have a life of their own. Well, we're joined now.
There would be no reason for it not to be at 9 p.m. at this point. They must have counted it 10 times over.
What's your best prediction? I know that I'm really kind of putting you on the spot here with the result.
Let's hear it. Let's hear the best prediction, John.
How things are going to go.
Well, Sophie, I've learned in politics when Donald Trump becomes president and Jeremy Corbyn becomes Labour leader not to make predictions. So why I'm going to answer your question, I don't know. But I think we're probably in the region of 120 to 140 Conservative MPs rebelling against him. I think he will survive the leadership vote tonight. But if you have that sort of degree of rebellion, well over 100 Tory MPs.
Your position's untenable.
Your leadership, I think your days as Tory leader are numbered. I think the thing that is holding Tory MPs back from absolutely finishing the Prime Minister off today is a lack of consensus about a likely successor. But talking off camera, off microphone, as I'm sure you've done today, there are a lot of Conservative MPs, there are a lot of Conservative ministers who, while publicly backing the Prime Minister,
this is what I said,
are telling me that when there is an opportunity, that the moment is right, that they think his time is up.
Yeah, to be honest,
well,
I have.
Let me interject there, Mr. Montgomery, because if he survives this, the time is not going to be right for another year.
Exactly, and that's the point. Have they gone too soon?
Well, this is it. Have they gone too soon? Because all they will do is secure his position for a year. And if he turns it around in that year and does some really quote-unquote good stuff, then after that, there's going to be no reason for them to want to oust him, surely.
Exactly. So I think they've gone too early.
So
they've gone on the back of public opinion. That's what they've done.
But could this, if he survives, right, and I'm just spitballing here, could this be of benefit to the general public because he is going to panic?
Possibly. Or is it all an act?
This is the thing.
For our delectation.
Did it? We talk about 4D chess, and everybody talked about how Donald Trump was always playing 4D chess, right? So, is this a game of 4D chess where he's encouraged a low leadership vote in himself?
Yeah.
So that he can affirm his position for a year,
and then he can, as you say, do stuff that's going to make him look really good, and nobody can understand why anyone wouldn't want to keep him.
Well, this is it. Could it be one big game of 4D chess? Now, the thing is, right, you have to give the man credit because he spent God knows how many years putting on this fucking character. And it is a character of Boris. Like you said, his friends call him Alexander, his family call him Alexander. Boris is a character. Mm-hmm. And if a man can stay in that, it's like Alex Jones, isn't it? Like Alex Jones said in court that what he does on screen is a character.
Yeah, of course it is.
So, if a man can stay in that kind of character, but especially for hold on.
What?
Shalini says, "Oh, hang on."
No, don't tell us, Shalini. We want to watch it. Because we'll always be slightly behind you guys, because we're streaming this, remember?
Yes,
you will be slightly behind. If you're watching this live on YouTube, you'll know before us. So shut the fuck up.
Please go to whose? I can't go to. Please go to whose Telegram?
No, we can't.
What, to my Telegram?
No, don't do it. Ben, don't do it. Because you know what happens?
I'm on my Telegram, John.
Fucking, I told you, don't do it.
I'm on my Telegram, John.
Fucking leave it alone. Don't start.
I'm not going to.
What will happen?
Shalini says, no, it's something else. Don't be rude. Huh? Oh, she's telling you to fuck off.
Yeah, fuck off yourself.
No, okay.
She doesn't understand. As soon as you go on Telegram or something, and
it knocks down. It can knock down the stream.
Yeah, it'll just knock the stream down, and then you'll be saying fuck off to nobody because there'll be nobody here.
That is okay. That is true, and I'll give John his dues there, right? Because everything runs off my phone. The phone is the modem. It runs the stream because we run it on 5G. Because it is just easier, and it's more stable than my internet that I have here. I need to buy a second phone line. But I can't afford it. but until such time, I have to run everything off 5G. But I can't play the video that's there. Because if I play that video, it will take out the stream. So I'll come off of that. And yes, I will watch and comment on it later. Absolutely, I will. Don't you worry about that. What did you all think? I don't know if you've all seen it, but what did you all think of my little return to actually making a video today? A little off-stream video. John, did you watch it?
No.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I
was busy today.
I watch every single one of your fucking videos.
Yeah, I told you I was busy today. I watched your other one. I watched your other one the other day, so this wasn't the first one you'd done.
Yeah, but
No, this wasn't the return.
Yeah, but it's the return to the rhythm.
I think once there is an alternative.
Because I actually want to.
Are you a politician?
No, I'm not a politician, John. I'm just really starting to enjoy making content again. Right? I've always enjoyed the live shows. I always have enjoyed the live shows. I love the live shows, but I kind of fell out of love with making off-stream videos, and I think you might be feeling the same.
No, I just it's just a time thing. I'm just finding the time.
Well, with me, it's.
I made one the other day, didn't? Oh no, I didn't. I picked one the other day.
You did, but I'll be completely honest with you. Like I say, I kind of fell out of love with making off-stream content, and now I'm starting to really, really enjoy it again. And there's going to be a lot more of it, and it's going to be about anything I want. It's not just going to be about Koof or Ukraine or politics. If I want to make another Star Wars video, I'll make another Star Wars video, right? It's anything that interests me, I'm going to comment on.
No one has ever restricted you, Ben.
No, they haven't, but I've almost felt like there's always been an expectation. Oh, here we go. Volume up.
Committee meeting room. This, of course, is where things were all taking place. You can see there Nadeem Zahawi, the person that Tim Montgomery was just talking about as a potential successor to Boris Johnson. And
Nadeem Zahawi is a successor for Boris Johnson?
For the results of that confidence vote in the Prime Minister. 9 minutes if they
This is the guy who's got the conflict of interest.
This is bringing back memories for me of...
or was it bringing back memories of Beth?
Yes. And you'll remember that she survived it. She lost... she won 63% of the vote. She lost 37% of support.
Oh my God, she is so dull.
Oh, she's terrible.
She is so dull.
So she's in a weaker position.
Just remind me, is Nadeem the guy who runs who came up, or whose wife came up with YouGov.com?
No, he was. Yes,
he did. Is that not a conflict of interest? This is back to where we were earlier.
I mean, I would say that every single one of them has got a conflict of interest somewhere, surely, because, like I said, all of them. They're not there to improve my life or your life or anybody's life watching this. All of these people there are there to improve their own life and to enrich themselves. Fuck everybody else. They don't care about you. Do you really think Boris Johnson, Alexander Johnson, cares about working class people?
That is a threshold.
Well, actually,
John, do you think that?
No, not at all.
Do you think that Michael Gove cares about working class people?
Johnson needs the support. Needs the support of
Michael Gove doesn't care if it's Tuesday or Montenegro.
So that's his threshold.
Do you think
Michael Gove's on a different planet altogether?
Do you think that Jacob Rees-Mogg cares about working class people?
No. Well, I don't think these people, they don't care about anything outside their immediate interests and their own personal status. In fact, they probably don't even care about their families.
Bit of confidence.
Maybe I've gone too far. Maybe I've gone too far.
Maybe. Well, all I know is that
consensus in this
and I can put look.
So boring, isn't she?
She's so dull.
Sorry, Ben, for cutting you off there, mate.
But I can put those same questions on anyone from any other one of the parties. Do you think Keir Starmer cares about working class people? Keir fucking Starmer.
That is the guy that. What did he not prosecute when he was the chief prosecutions officer? Exactly.
Well, we're not allowed to say that, are we? Because you get social media banned for saying that.
Yeah.
But.
Well, that's why I didn't say it.
Shalini says, biggest globalist shill. No, Mr. Trilateral Commission. Keir Starmer, right?
Yeah.
I mean, do you even think, Keith? Do you even think Jeremy Corbyn cares about working class people? You know,
No.
the socialist millionaire, Jeremy Corbyn.
No, I don't think so.
These are the type of people that are like, socialism for thee, but not for me, because I'm going to keep my millions.
It's like, these people all went to the same school, right?
Yeah.
They all went to the same school.
Yeah.
And none of those schools were secondary models.
No! I mean, Christ, Priti Patel literally looks down her noses at people. She looks down her nose at people at working...
Graduations, if you like.
You're right, she does.
Working class scum. I mean, this is the woman. This is the woman that is essentially, well, effectively going to deport Julian Assange.
Yeah. Is that decision not had to be made? When's that? Remember I said watch for the Queen's death to cover the decision, or was the decision going to cover the Queen's death? When is the decision being made?
I'm not sure if it's been officially announced or made. I don't know. I haven't kept an eye on it, but remember, they don't care about you, me, or any one of us. I mean, it's evident. Look at the fucking lockdowns. Look at how many people killed themselves. Look at how many businesses went under. Look at how many people have not been diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah.
They don't care. Yes, Shalini, it's got to be very, very soon. Look, the room is filling up. So they're all just sitting there on their phones. They're all just sitting there tweeting.
Had to resign. So this is bad.
What's the next 9 days, John?
Well, it said on May the 22nd. It says the British Home Secretary is under pressure. She's got to decide within the next 9 days.
Over the Julian Assange thing.
Yeah, but that was before the end of May.
Yeah. So has she made that decision yet? We don't know. Chrissy says she's got to go. Or we apologise that they couldn't count 360 votes in an hour, Chrissy.
Yeah. That is soon.
It is soon, but please enjoy the rest of your evening, whatever it is you're doing. And if you're not subscribed on YouTube, go over there and click the subscribe button.
It's coming up 2 minutes to 9. I bet they'll announce it bang on 9.
You think so? Well, I would hope so, because like I say, you would think within an hour they could count and verify 360 votes.
You would think so.
You would hope so. So final predictions, John.
Don't win elections. The public see it and they lose confidence in the party because they think, well, if you can't run yourself,
he's eating now.
How are you going to run our country?
You know what? This is why I made the family's dinner at 5, John.
You can see there the MPs who managed to bag.
And whilst I was cooking, I ran a bath.
Yeah, you were organised. I was otherwise engaged. Anyway, I think he's. I think he's getting. I think he's going to get about 100 people against him.
You reckon?
Yeah, I can't see it being much more than that.
So whilst
I think they've gone too early.
I think so too.
I might be. I might be completely wrong. Oh! What's happening?
People are moving off. Get the volume up.
Which effectively kind of governs.
We can still talk. You can still hear us.
Party. There's been talk.
Whilst we wait, Shalini would like to know, how is Lexi, John?
Wins this vote according to the rules. Boris Johnson is then immune for a year.
Nobody ever asked me how River is.
Sean got attacked the other day.
He would feel that he could.
He what?
Sean got attacked.
It's interesting,
but Lexi didn't.
There wasn't a
well, you're going to have to tell us about that when you pull the volume back down.
Change it so you didn't have to wait.
That's interesting.
Or call in another vote, but that kind of got.
I mean, I've got 4 cats, a dog, and a house rabbit. Well, it's not a house rabbit anymore. We've made a brand new. It lives in the garden now. It's got a lovely little area. But we've got all of those, and all they ever do is ask you how fucking Lexi is. Not how's the rabbit, not how's River, not how's the 4 cats. All the other pets I've got, we call them children. But
Convention states that
but your dog's
safe
bad.
For another year, and this is also why it's
like.
Now you've met my dog, haven't you?
This is little bastard.
She's a fucking nutter.
Yes. I can understand why the Royal Mail no longer
the Monday
deliver
back after the Platinum Jubilee, once you've still got two potential.
But they didn't have to lie.
No, they
would
didn't
not
have
necessarily be the moment
Guys,
that you
obviously.
want the vote, because at the moment he can still stand up
can't
and say,
see
I'm a
it.
proven vote winner.
No.
Dorius today, he
my dog's a little nutter. She is a little nutter, but she's harmless, isn't she, John? She's absolutely pathetic. That's how I can describe her. She's pathetic.
Do you think, interestingly on the timing, because as you said,
she thinks she's a guard dog. She thinks she's a guard dog, but she's tiny. Oh, here we go. All right, everybody, there's Brady. Here we go.
Coming in, that is to Graham Brady in the middle, picking out paper.
Hello.
Hello. I can report as returning officer that 359 ballots were cast, no spoiled ballots, that the vote in favour of having confidence in Boris Johnson as leader was 211 votes, and the vote against was 148 votes. And therefore, I can announce that the Parliamentary Party does have confidence.
Oh my God. Was that crackle on their feet?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
That's why I thumbed it down.
So I think our predictions were largely correct, as they always are, John.
He got more against them than I thought, but yeah, generally he did win it.
So Vaughan says 148 against is still a lot, and absolutely it is.
Yeah, I was a bit shocked there was as many.
We can kill there. We can kill the screen share now. We can go back to big screen if you like.
Of the confidence motion, the cheers there, the support.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. So 211 votes for Boris Johnson, 148 votes against him, which has, as we spoke about earlier, simply affirmed his position as Prime Minister for another year.
Right. So the question now is, as you surmised, is he going to now go balls out to try and make himself look good, or is he going to go out in a blaze of glory?
Do you think he stays the year?
It depends what he's. Yeah, I cannot see Carrie wanting to give this position up.
See, there are still 148 of his MPs against him right now. Right, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is. But what's that in percentage terms?
It's about 30%.
Yeah, so he's still got 70%. Yeah.
Well, it's a bit more than 30%.
So I just cannot see Carrie wanting to give this position up.
Well, no, because let's face it, she is the woman behind the man, isn't she?
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Carrie, we wouldn't be going down this fucking green road.
Yeah, I know.
This green agenda that nobody voted for, I might add, was not part of their manifesto, and then all of a sudden, there it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely it's hard that's pulling the strings on that, and it falls into the globalism part as well, the narrative about climate change. So, I think they'll stay. I just think they'll hang on. I don't think he'll resign. I could be well wrong, but I can't see any reason for him to resign, given the thinking that I've just outlined.
Well, if he does stay, he's got 12 months now, right? 12 months to avoid this happening again to him in 12 months. So how does he do that? How does he do that? If he wants to stay beyond those 12 months, because he might just want to fuck off anyway, right?
It doesn't matter what he wants. It's to Carrie.
But what does he do to give confidence back to those 148 MPs or however many voted against him?
In some respects, he's maybe already done it because he's weathered the Partygate storm, right?
Yeah.
Because he's not going to resign now, no matter how many times Keith asks him to, right? And the thing is, Keith's in a position. He's in an untenable position because you can't go Partygate because all Boris has to go is Beergate.
Exactly, yeah, and not only that, he's also now got the snapback now that, well, they did a no confidence vote over that, and they still have confidence in me.
Exactly. So he's not gonna go now. And does he really need to do that much more? Because Partygate in a year's time is going to be out. So unless he makes some really big fuck ups between now and a year's time, how can anyone run another no confidence vote? Really?
Well, you say how. It may be a simple case of malice.
Oh yeah, it may well be a behind the scenes, double dealing thing. People like, I mean, that Nadeem Zwali, he's fucking out. He's out. Unless he's working on the premise that you keep your enemies close, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think he's out. I think they're going to bin him. So I think we could see the Night of the Long Knives from the cabinet in a couple of days' time.
You think a reshuffle maybe on the cards?
Yeah. Yeah, I think Boris will be going, see you bald and fucking blah, 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 blah. You're out.
And on that note, John, do you think it might be time to wrap this up?
Yeah, probably. Well, hold on a second.
Oh, okay, hold on. We do want to hear about the tick before we go.
Hold on.
We've put him on big screen. He's deep in thought. You've gone back to sharing?
No. Yeah, listen.
It's a larger than anticipated margin.
Hold on.
It's a ballot. 50 plus 1 is a majority, right? Boris did much better than that. We draw a line and we move on because we've got 2 years to demonstrate to the nation that we can deliver on the economy. We've got to deal with the global battle against inflation. We've got to deal with the backlog of the NHS, safer streets, and of course, war in Europe. What do you think President Zelensky will be thinking tonight? He'll be punching the air because he knows his great ally Boris Johnson will be Prime Minister tomorrow morning. That's what we've got to focus on. What Michelle and I are doing is focusing on skills, schools, family, because Boris Johnson has mandated us to deliver on those things. These are big priorities for the nation.
Absolutely.
We'll be thinking about what are these cabinet ministers going to do to deliver over the next 2 years. We've won the vote tonight.
Basically, what he's saying is, don't reshuffle me, please. Don't reshuffle me. Please, I like my job and my ministerial salary. Please.
41% of your colleagues tonight.
It's 41%.
No confidence in Boris Johnson.
So I think now is the time to move on. Now is not the time for self-indulgent navel-gazing. Now is the time to deliver. It's what we're doing as ministers in the Department for Education. It's what we're doing across
self-indulgent navel-gazing.
In what way are you going to fucking deliver?
Fuck.
Yeah, just get rid of them. Just get rid of them. I don't want to hear from them, John. Get rid of them. There we go. Get them off. Do you know what? Do you know what? They're so transparent, aren't they? They are so fucking pathetic. The first thing they're doing, please don't reshuffle us, please. Please don't. They are like, look, listen.
My boy doesn't run away.
I want to hear the story because they are like Sean's fucking tick. Tell us.
Right. Okay, well, Sean takes the dog up the hill, right? So he goes up the hill. And the grass is quite long, and the dog is a fucking nutter at being half Springer Spaniel, right?
Yeah.
So it goes through the long grass like tiger. It's like boing, boing, boing. It's like watching a fucking high-speed kangaroo.
Right.
Anyway, so he threw her ball for her, and she couldn't find the ball, and he's shouting at her, the ball's behind you. It's fucking behind you. The dog's looking all over. She can't find the ball. So he goes, fuck it. He strolls into the long grass, gives her the ball, and comes back out. And then he wakes up the next morning and he's going, sat in my leg. And it was a tick.
So how did he get the tick out, John?
Well, he pulled it out. But he seemed to pull it out all right because it's just a wee tiny pinprick. But he showed me a picture of it and it was a tick.
Ooh.
And then he goes, "Will I be all right?" And I'm going, "You'll be fine."
So do you know how we've avoided having anything like that occur in our garden, John?
Well, you don't really have long grass, mate. You've got fucking astroturf.
We got fake grass, John. We got fake grass.
You don't really get ticks in the garden, but well, unless it's like overgrown. But anyway,
did you see my garden when I moved in?
No, but
it was a hoarder. This house belonged to a hoarder before us, John.
So he goes, "Can I finish the story? Can I finish the story?"
Maybe.
Right. So he's texting me going, "Will I be all right?" And I go, "You'll be fine." And then he goes, "I've been looking it up. What about Lyme disease?" For fuck's sake. I said, "You'll be fine." I mean, he weighs like 300 pounds. He's 6'6" and built like a Sasquatch.
Yeah, but
it's fucking going to take more than a tick to take him down.
But you've also got to remember, right? He is something I am and you're not, which is autistic. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we hyper focus on things.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, I reassured him he would be fine, and he hasn't exhibited any symptoms of Lyme disease since.
You have to, if he starts growing tick-like features, you might be in trouble, John.
Yeah, I've been calling him the tick.
You're calling him the tick. Do you remember that? Did you see the remake of that on Amazon Prime?
Yeah, it was awful.
It was awful. It was absolutely fucking awful.
Anyway, there you go. So, speaking of ticks, there's 650 of them in that big building just off the Thames.
Yes, indeed. And
they're
also
sucking your blood every day.
So, if you are watching on whatever platform you are watching on, make sure you have subscribed to the channel, whatever platform you're watching on, be it Odyssey, Rumble, Brand YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, because we're on all of you right now. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you share out this video, or just go to the channel, watch some of our other videos, share those.
Yeah, there's plenty there. Have a ball.
And if you are feeling so inclined, John will sell us to you right now.
If you find any value in this little ditty that we give you of an evening, then please feel free to support us on patreon.com/Chasing Dissent or subscribestar.com/Chasing Dissent from as little as £1 a month. That's all we ask, but we'd appreciate more if you can afford it, and only if you can afford it.
And only ever if you can afford it. So, as he let me introduce the show, I will let him take us out.
Oh, thank you for attending this pop-up on the no confidence vote amongst the Tory MPs. They have decided that they do have confidence in Boris Johnson as leader of the Conservative Party by a factor of 211 to 148, giving him a majority of 63.
Yes.
There you go.
There we go. Thank you very much for joining us, and we will be back here Wednesday night at 8 PM with episode 95 of Chasing Dissent Live.
Indeed, the road to 100.
The road to 100. America, hurry up and drop your entry requirements. That's all I'm going to say.
Hurry up, hurry up.
Hurry up, we're nearly at 100. Anyhow.
Night.
Night. Night. Night. Good night.